left me. I had to go on a living. I had to go on a living.
So did it leave all the way? The egomaniac?
It never leaves all the way, but for the most part right now, most of it's gone. Yes.
So, I mean, so you were an egomaniac. What, I mean, were you doing hallucinogenics?
No.
You were
Yeah,
just drinking?
I was drinking. I'm going to tell you, and I've said this to you before. I never used any drugs until I got the cupcake drug. I don't know if it was from you or what, and that was a little over a year ago. That's the only.
But you drank though, heavily?
I drank a lot.
And so I'm just wondering, I'm wondering, were you practicing spirituality while you were an egomaniac? Did you start this then? I'm just wondering.
No, what got
when
me...
did this start?
Look, Mike, the question is real simple, John. When I was a young man, at 25, I was doing things that my personal value system said, why are you doing this? The question, it's always a question why. I started looking for answers. I looked at religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and I found Gurdjieff. What I have learned is I am a person of life. I have a job to do on this planet, and I do the best I can with it. Today I've done something,
let me ask
tomorrow I'll do better.
Because I did things too that like I felt like I had to keep secret. You know,
I don't have any secrets.
But I'm just saying, like, I have secrets. Just there are things that I can laugh about with certain people, but other people I feel like I have to keep it secret with.
Well,
so I'm just wondering because I want to know more about what you were doing that made you have to look at yourself. Because I was looking at myself at 15. Was it fighting?
No.
Was it women? What was it?
You know when I started looking at myself?
What?
When I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, something was wrong with the people and the life around me. Not just my parents.
So how did you become an egomaniac? What were you doing?
Because that's what I was. I'm an egomaniac. I became an egomaniac because
let's just say
I was
you were,
living life.
and it wasn't a bad thing. I mean, let's say you were born a very handsome, sweet young man.
I was.
Yeah, you absolutely were. Everybody loved you. You were the center of attention. Do you not see how that gives you an idea of the false perception, how the world works around you, and that can easily make a little child, act a certain way he's not to be blamed for?
My siblings that I have the best relationship with are the ones that took care of me. I was number 6 in a family of 13. My mom and dad had time to say hello to you in the morning. Curtsy in the morning, good night at night. That was it. My mom worked all day long, made meals. My dad worked 3 jobs, worked 14 hours a day. If I got up at 5 in the morning, I could say goodbye.
So this is where the story started, as a child.
No, the story started.
Just like, but you see how I keep going back to the childhood because this is where my story started.
Right. The story.
But you know what I realized? Your story starts long before you were born.
Well, that's for you.
And I feel like our story started when you were an egomaniac.
My story, the difficulty with it is that I'm not there. I haven't been there in years.
What about you made you wake up? What about it? Was it womanizing? What was it? Was it violence? What was it? I want to know what woke you up.
It wasn't violence. And the womanizing was an issue for me when I started reading about sexuality, not from the point that you get in our daily books, but from books that you read up there.
Do you remember not understanding?
The energy. Of course I remember.
Okay, because you didn't understand what Sebastian, because I knew before you, and I didn't know till I was 13, and I remember that exact moment when, and I know you don't remember it, but I remember exactly. I remember what you said. I remember the feeling and the look on your face, because I remember you being confused about it. I remember you being confused about it, and I told you, the first thing I told you was, no, what you're saying is not true. You're going to be the first one there, kneeled at his bedside holding his hand. And I don't know if you remember what it was about. I don't want to get into it, but I just remember that I had to tell you then.
Actually, I knew your brother came to me when he was 17 or 18. He told me he was gay. And
that was about the time. That was a little after the time I found out. And I think I had told you. I told you one time when we were arguing. I told you, did you know Sebastian's gay? And you were shocked and surprised, just like I was when I first found out, right? And you said something You said something that came out naturally, but that you didn't mean.
Well, what if I doubt very much that I said anything negative. I'm gonna say to you exactly what I said to
Even if you
Sebastian.
did, these little
His
things are what I
his
understand about you.
sexual. He can have all the sex he wants with anybody or anything he wants. However, I shared with him he should not have sex with anybody he don't love because he gets to live with that person forever. It's the highest energy our body produces is sexual energy, and when we're throwing it away, we're throwing our life away.
But,
So there's what I knew, what I had done.
but you have to be. Here's the thing about sexuality. Just like your relationship with your own wife and God or your own spirit, that's how sexuality works. And the problem is you can only relate to your own.
That's
I mean, you can relate to other people, but you can't tell other people how your relationship works with your sexuality, and that's a part about all this that the world's making a business of. It's not
John,
your business.
The only thing that's different about I say about the difference in the world is I'm saying
We're sexual beings,
it is.
but you have to hone in and have some
That's right.
balance and control.
We're sexual beings, but we don't need to have sex with everybody
People
we meet up with.
People are different. I don't need to. That's for sure. Maybe you didn't need, but everybody's different out here in the world. And that's the part of it. I can't be like them. They can't be like me. And I can't really. The more I'm worried or thinking about what other people are doing as far as even sexually, it's rent-free real estate up here. I mean, we're sexual beings. Maybe we were meant to be that way.
Well,
I mean,
the sexuality has it provides for us many levels of understanding. The basic hardcore part of it is two people get together and get off on each other's. That's the coarsest part of it. The next part is we create energy between each other, and that we make a connection with each other that we cannot get rid of. So for me, it wasn't a mistake.
Maybe you can. Maybe you can have sex and there's no connection for life there.
Well,
I mean, maybe that's the way that you felt when you were growing up. Is that because you had sex with? Is that you're connected for life?
But
that was a different time.
Time.
That was a different time. Things have changed in 50, 60 years. I mean, with the introduction of safe sex, and there's a lot more freedom.
All I'm saying is expressing our sexuality and releasing the energy that is in our bodies for sexuality can be used for something else.
There's just certain subjects that are personal to us that we should think and understand about, but that we shouldn't put onto other people. We can relate to them and share that with somebody, but trust me, there's so many people that are going to have these that's going to have a very similar standpoint from you, but they're going to, at the same point, they're going to be like, I'm okay with something, a different idea. I'm okay with
it. My warning to my son and to my sons and my daughters is don't waste the highest energy you're giving. Make sure you love that person you're going to connect
That's definitely
with.
True.
That's
worth it. But I mean,
that's it.
If somebody doesn't, like I said, it's just like life. People have to come to understand and know what they want to on their own. And that's just the way sexuality
works. And I'm okay with that.
And if you see something that's going on with somebody that hurts you, you can't. That's not you. You have to realize that's not you. And that person is going to be fine, no matter what they're doing or what they're up to. They're going to take care of these things on their own.
It's not for me to judge.
So and I just want to know. So if it sounds like the drinking and the sex, I don't know if there's spirituality involved.
All of that ain't going to help you at all.
No, I'm just wondering. It does because I need to know you at this point because like you said, I let my imagination supposedly get the best of me.
So I'm saying to you that I had an epiphany when I was a young man. And I was fucking around, going to college, and my life was fucking, drinking, and trying to learn.
And women.
And fucking is
okay.
Mostly
fucking.
Women.
Fucking.
That's all. It was always with women. That was my egotistical.
That's still what every guy. That's nature. I mean, that's what everybody's doing, whether you like it or not.
Well, that's what everybody's doing, but it's more prevalent now than it was when I was.
So you decided you weren't going to do it.
So
no, it's prevalent.
So I had an epiphany, and that epiphany shared that what happened is the realization is that I'm wasting my energy and my time, and I'm getting nowhere. I had and And the other side of that is I have nowhere to go anyway. But I began to, instead of living this life out here, I started living the life that was inside of me. And then I began to see that I'm an egotist. And the egotist you call James. And at a certain point in my life, I did everything I could to minimize.
Did it ever become more than just an egomaniac? Were you ever something more than that you lost control?
No.
You were never. Yeah.
I was out of control.
You only thought about yourself. I mean, right? I mean.
That's all we do think about.
And so.
That's all we do.
When did you realize though that when the people that you were having sex with, you were connected to for life?
I realized that
at 25?
while I was doing it.
While you were doing it?
And I wished it was 4 or 5.
So was it the sexual stuff? Was it just like were you experimenting, doing crazy stuff? I mean,
in the 60s, the story was if you weren't doing 2 a day, you weren't doing. Well, somewhere in me, and that was the story the boys had, 2 a day.
It's maybe it's not like exactly the way it was, but trust me, there's still a lot of groups of men out there the same way.
Well,
it's happening all over the
they
place.
didn't grow up. So,
I mean,
I seen that my sexuality and the energy that gets produced by that I could produce something inside of me that maybe will be permanent when I leave here. Maybe you could call it soul. My what I want to call it is just I. There's no identity with it. It's just there's this being in me that's just I. And when I do this with myself, it reminds me that I have a job to do on this planet, and that job is simply to be present.
I think it's good to talk, but I think we're gonna have to talk more. I just wanted to. I heard you were looking for me, and I want to show my face.
Well,
I'm not trying to be scared of you. I think
I
think it's scary what's happening. I don't feel like I did this. I feel like this is a game, something that's been going on, and maybe we can talk about it more. But at this point, I just want to know that I can get my stuff when it's time to get it, and I don't hate you anymore. I don't necessarily believe. I believe more that what's been spoken right here than I believe my whole life. Let me say that. But I do still believe that there's a small percentage that you're gonna have to be absolutely honest with me about possibly.
Well,
and I know it's gonna take some time. So let's give it some time. I started a new life doing whatever I know how to do. I basically this is it.
Well,
I've discovered this is what my life was meant to be about, and that whether right or wrong, the message I learned about myself is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, and that's the power I'm going to share with other people, is that you don't have to be, if you want to know yourself and you want to be a badass too, you can be a badass. You just have to have as much heart, and you have to know what you love. You have to separate it from what you know is real and wrong, and it's just very simple. It's not complicated. We're here for our families and to complete the circle.
So can you see that I was very open to you, that I allowed your garden to go on? And that I let your friends come
I
here.
think it was just part of the game, but I mean, you
it's
allowed everything to go on. I feel like you allowed me to live. I feel like.
No.
And because I've heard it that way before. That's the problem.
You hear it. What I'm saying
You've
is,
never been able to explain what happened here, and I don't do it now. Let's talk about this again later so you can think about it. Last summer, when Cece here and John was here, something happened, and you told me, and I was enraged with you, and I went from that to just this feeling of disgust, but understanding something. You told me that I did not understand how much you loved me because you saved me, that I was not supposed to come home from the woods. At that point,
John,
you saw it in my eyes, and I saw it in your eyes. You told me the truth.
John, I took you to the woods for exactly what I told you.
Just listen, and then
did not say that.
You don't have to explain it. Just listen and think about what I'm saying for a while until the next time we talk. You said that to me. We looked at each other. I was infuriated. I went from infuriated to looking over to my left to grabbing my stomach because it turned. When I looked back at you, I realized that you had told me what you were thinking about doing. And when I looked at you, I couldn't even speak. I just said, you were going to do what? Yeah. And you said to me, and you broke down, Dad. You broke down into tears. And you said, please, just listen to me finish. And this is what I saw that I'll never be able to forget. And you said, you started breaking down. And you said, John, please. And you started coming to me. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? At that point, I was either being bribed or you were begging to me. And then when that didn't go, I said, Dad, I don't want nothing from you. You think that I want something from you. I don't want anything from you. What I wish I would have told you is I want you to love me unconditionally, the way that my son loves me and the way that I love him. That's it. That's all I ever wanted to, but I didn't know how to tell you that. But then you went on, Dad. You went on to saying, beat me up, hit me, and I was looking at this person.
You were in my face, and you were already spitting on me.
No, it wasn't like that. We were having an argument. The way it works is mutually. Nobody's a victim of the other person. When it comes to that point, I could go back and say, but the way I feel is that you jump on my back physically. That's not what happened that day. What happened was something different that's happened any other time. And what happened is that something happened. You told me something, and then you went on to ask me I needed to tell you, I need to put a condition on how this was to never be spoken of again. Wow. And I couldn't do it. And then what I saw happen is you went into something else. And so I realized you're an actor.
John, yeah, you know what? I think.
But I want to know, why are you acting?
The conversation has got to come to an end. And the
yeah, I know. I just want you to think about that.
Because it's about John. You could care less about it.
I know. I know why I was taken out to the woods, and the reason why I felt like this is I was speaking out, and I was talking, and you saw that about my nature. Either that, or you knew I had an extraordinary, huge heart, and that this was going to be a problem as I became a man.
Then that's your side of the story. My side of the story is very simple.
I think you were intelligent.
You would not let any peace or harmony happen. You just wouldn't do it.
I don't think. I think that I'm not the person that I think my brothers and sisters are extremely confused. There's no way a 5-year-old was throwing a whole family out of whack. Dad, you admit it that you've struggled with being an egomaniac your whole life? You admit it that there were strange and unusual things going on?
By the time you came along,
I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to tell you.
I'm saying to you.
Last summer there was 2 people here that saw it.
What your friend saw is you attacking me for no reason. And do you know what was going on?
I'm not attacking you now. I came here to talk to you, so let's...
Do you remember the guy that showed up here trying to buy pot for you? And I said to you, you know what I said to you?
He wasn't. That's not what's happening. You misinterpreted the whole thing. That person came by. I had no control over that whole situation. I was here with my son, and that's all I ever care about.
You know what I said?
I remember everything about it.
I think that person works for the police department.
And you were extremely paranoid. I wasn't, even if that was the case and I had thought about that, I wasn't going to allow that kind of paranoia to creep over me. So something else was bothering you.
Yeah, I was worried about you.
You were worried about the police. You were worried about me. But what happened after that was not the same. That's what I'm saying. And let's not view it this way. I'm talking the truth right now, and I understand it's going to make you feel uncomfortable.
And I'm not uncomfortable.
I interpret it as a confession.
There's nothing.
No, I just want you to think about what happened last summer, because I can never forget it, because I feel like you confessed to me that you were planning to kill me. And whether you meant it or not, we need to be clear about it.
I never said that. I would have never said that. No.
Because there's 2 people that heard it, and that they're telling me they heard it, and so now it's a lie.
They did not hear it.
All right, well, I heard it, I saw it in front of me, and even if I was crazy and believed things that happened that never really did, there's 2 other people saying, you know what, I heard that, JP, and it doesn't sound crazy. And I want you to know, you don't need to be worried about that. You don't need to be worried about it.
It's wrong. It's not who I am. It's not who I was.
Dad, in this conversation, we're being honest, but you've told a bunch of lies. And so
anything I say is a lie.
You want to protect yourself. I'm not after you. Do you think I'm after you? Do you think I'm after you?
What do I have to protect? I've done nothing to you.
Whatever happened.
My heart's always
whatever
been
happened
open
before. Whatever happened before our mess is what you had to protect, Dad.
Whatever happened before our mess was long gone. Before you
but you realize it came back when I was born.
It didn't come back.
It did. It came back in the form of a voice and a heart. And I was connected, and you knew I was connected. And I felt like you interpreted I was the enemy. You're playing with these spirits, and you saw me as some sort of a sick joke.
That's your imagination.
It's not. It's you told me what you told me. You set this up for my imagination to work. You've been playing with me my whole life.
That up there was none of your business. You go up in my space. I
left it to your business for 30 years. When I found out that there was lots of dead girls possibly involved, I decided that this wasn't your...
There's more of your imagination.
It's not. It's real. It's a website. You need to look at
I
it.
don't want to look at it. I could care less.
Well, when they're writing things in the newspaper, it sounds like they're talking to me.
There are stories about missing girls in Mexico by the hundreds.
Yeah, but these ones were connected to the back roads right off here, and these ones were connected in similar
John,
situations to what was going on in the woods with me and you, and that's
there
why.
was one time there was a murderer loose in our vineyards back here.
No, that's not.
Well, that's
This happened
that's all.
before I was born, and it stopped about the time me and you started having problems. That's why and you just said
Your
it.
imagination,
You said it
buddy.
came to an end right as we were coming to an end. Like, you know what I mean?
Look, you know what, John?
It could be my imagination,
That
but
is your
unfortunately, I have a
imagination.
lot of proof that says otherwise.
Well, you got
And
no
you
proof
just
at all.
you just
If
lied to
you
me
had
about the
any
confession
proof,
that you made to me last week.
Take it to the police.
I took my statement to the police, and it's not something that it's going to take time for whatever. I want them to do their job. I had no choice but to take a report to the police. You realize that, right? I had to, because I realized that I didn't want to even keep this a secret.
It ain't a secret. It's
It
my
was.
private
I never knew
personal
about it.
life.
I never knew about it.
It's my spirituality relative to the appreciation I have for life. Simple as that. Those are reminders, a reminder to me that there is life.
There's a lot of
after
ways
I'm
to go
gone.
about doing that.
That's how I did it.
Appreciating life is
It's none of-
respecting it too.
That's for you, not for me.
All right, but I'm just going to say, Dad, you know,
Uh,
I
this-
love you, but I know everything, Dad. I know what you did.
That's your
It
imagination.
doesn't change.
Okay.
I still
John?
love you. I'm not gonna. Look at. You know what? I'm not interested in working with the police on this. I'm interested. This is my life. This is my story. I'm interested in figuring this out for myself. You know what I mean? Even though there's other
Yeah.
hurt people out there, I'm doing this for me.
Do it for yourself, and you're gonna.
But I know.
Reality.
The
had
reality
nothing
is
to me.
that when it comes down to the hardcore truth, you want to go around it. You at one time you admit true things, and now when I'm telling you about the thing that the incident that happened last summer, you said I'm a victim. You said I'm a victim. Last summer you were assaulting me, and that's not what happened. You admitted something to me, and at that point we went calm. I walked out of here calmly. The police saw. They saw everything. And you were trying to get me to stay. You were begging me. You wanted me to stay. And you did this crazy act.
All right, John. First of all, that's your interpretation of it.
Okay.
And it's not mine. I do wish you well. I absolutely wish you well. I wish your son well, and however you wish. But it is true. I don't think you can live on this property anymore.
I'm not trying to live on this property ever. I didn't come back here to do that. I only came back here to talk to you. I have not lived on this property since the day I turned in that police report, and I never will. I honestly, I know that you're lying to me right to my face. You think I'm an idiot because I love you. This
really
has been
is
the game.
no conversation.
No, look, this has been the game. I loved you as a child. I thought what was happening was normal. You took advantage of that. You're taking advantage of it now. I'm not out to get you. I know you, and I don't judge you.
It's over. The
I don't
conversation's
judge you.
over. I am not anywhere near the person you're accusing me of. I'm not.
Well,
anywhere
unfortunately,
near.
you admitted it in a few different ways. You said you were an egomaniac. You said you had a problem with women. You said you were connected to them every time you slept with them.
John,
and then you
I'm
lied about the
connected to
confession.
them right now.
And then you
This
lied about the
ladies-
confession.
Because the ladies in my life who got up and walked away, I had sex with them,
I wasn't
and because of that, I'm connected to them. Simple as that.
I understand, but I wasn't.
No, you don't understand.
Yeah,
that.
because
You're making something else.
You
out
want to
of it.
blame everybody else but you.
Okay, so you didn't hear me
No, I
just
hear you.
say
I hear
that
you.
I took responsibility
you're
for
not being
what I
honest.
was doing, and I stopped.
Something happened, Dad.
I
That's
stopped.
why. No, it didn't
I had
stop.
an epiphany.
You
I
said it
realized
stopped when I have it all, and you said you stopped when me and you were coming to an end, and that's when it shows on record that other things were stopping. Whatever happened, Dad, I can't judge you. If you made mistakes, you did what you did. It doesn't change the way anybody's gonna love you.
It's real simple. You're absolutely wrong. You're an imagination about it. If you have hung around me 32 years,
I know that
and
there's
you
something wrong
cannot,
with you.
there's rarely any contradictions in my actions and my
There
behavior.
is a lot.
Well, that's
That's what I'm saying. You're the craziest guy I've ever been around, and we laughed about it earlier. So I mean, you know, it's true. It's true. It's true, Dad.
it's not true that I have.
Why don't you, if you want to just live your life and you
anybody.
what are you going to do with the rest of your life? You're just going to hang out around people that love you and continue on this way?
You know what? What I do with the rest of my life is I serve the God that lives in me.
The
I
same.
serve that.
So that's for life.
That's for life.
You can't get out.
I can't get out.
Why not?
Because
It's your soul. He owns your soul.
it is my being.
What if I told you you can get out and I can get you out?
Well, then you're up a gum tree. You're just like you.
No.
What if I tell you that you're up a gum tree and I can help you, and I can get you out?
You've told too many lies. All I speak is the truth.
So there you are.
So
really, the conversation is.
Dad, what I do for a living is all based upon truth and truth. If there's no trust, there's no pay at the end of my day. You understand that that's what I've learned to become? I recognize bullshit from non-bullshit.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you haven't got a real clear picture of it.
Look, I have a lot of friends. I have friends of all different kinds, Dad. You don't relate to people the way I relate to, so don't tell me. You need to listen to me.
Hundreds of friends. But my friends I don't need them.
You know what? It's the first rule they teach you in kindergarten. You absolutely need your friends. You need to trust, and you need to share, because you ain't gonna have nobody to play with. You're playing with something up here. It's not as real as you think.
If they're in my life, it's because I want them.
You can be free of this. Whatever you think is for life, you're free of it. You just got to decide in your mind, and you don't see the way. But it's not about seeing the way. It's not about seeing the future. It's about seeing how you're gonna deal with it today.
You have no idea how present I am to this moment.
But you got to understand, one person in this world knows you. They know everything.
They don't know anything. I'm going to tell you.
They know something. Whether it's all true, or whether somebody made you to look something that you weren't, whatever it was. There's a game of mouse and cat, or cat and mouse. It's all games. It's all stories. It's all symbols. Our relationship was a game.
That has nothing to do with you up there.
Our relationship has something to do with us, and our relationship, starting from the woods, some game was going on, some awakening. You're trying to do something.
That's right.
And there was a horror show.
Over and over.
The horror show, and the reason the horror show I know is you didn't necessarily beat us, but you were very careful, and that makes me think you've been careful your whole life. You've been really careful. Why have you been so careful? Why do you feel like you need to lie about the confession?
It's real simple, John. I have been really, really careful because I didn't want to hurt my children.
I know, but you're gonna hurt them.
Really careful, and no matter what I did, they got hurt. No matter what.
Because you can't just. It's not a light switch that you can turn off on this egomaniac stuff.
But that's not true.
You got to take responsibility for that game.
I did.
It's not stopped though. That's what I've been whining and bitching about. And
you won't let it.
It stops when you're all alone and everybody goes away, or when they all realize the truth. I mean, that's when it stops. But guess what? They're still going to love you. That's the way it works.
Right. Look, you have no idea.
It doesn't matter to you. You think it doesn't matter. You don't care.
Matter.
Well, then all you're doing is living. You're doing what you want to do every day, and you're taking down anybody who you want to.
John, I don't do what I want to do.
You're bringing them into it, then.
I live my life according to my value system, and my values are recognized only as egotistical things.
I understand that you don't want your family to get hurt, but
guess what?
If that's the situation, I'm just saying you should take yourself to where you need to be. If the closer you are with them and people figure this out, the more danger they're going to be in.
Your brothers and sisters have no idea. They're nowhere near where you're at.
Oh, they know because I've told them.
They know, and what they can't believe is how you even came up with this.
Once they start looking at it and reading the newspaper articles and thinking and remembering the past, they're going to realize that our dad is trying to keep something hidden and secret. And that's why you keep lying. You will tell the truth about certain things.
You know what? I have something.
We're not going. Me and you aren't going to court because I understand you,
I have
Dad.
a secret. I have a secret.
I know there's a secret.
But
and
you don't want anything
to
do with it.
I know I don't. But there's two. But I found it, and I have something to do with it. I'm in the middle now.
The secret is there's something alive in me that I can't tell you about.
The devil.
Because you
Satan.
don't want it. Well, that's your.
God is alive in you. You